Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. World record size blackhead duo. So let's talk about this one gentleman's bag that had two enormous blackheads. Two huge dilated pour of whiners, said Dr. Lee. He's an older gentleman who weaves them a couple of times, maybe for issues on his face, but we happened to give him more of a body exam, so I looked at his upper body as well, and lo and behold, he had two of the biggest blackheads that I've ever seen. One was as hard as a pebble, and they were really satisfying to remove. They essentially came out whole, and they were huge.
Sorry, it has to be in such a tough area that we gotta do such awkward things to you here.
Third eye cyst. Dr. Pimple Popper helps a man with a large cyst located right under his eyebrow in her latest video posted to Instagram. It's so big it's beginning to block one of his eyes in his view. The clip is captioned by Dr. Pimple Popper. Using our third eye to see you at it will be a good day today. Hashtag cyst. Hashtag Dr. Pimple Popper. Lee removes an epidermoid cyst in this one located right near the eye of the man. Watching her work on the patient is fascinating, helping him to remain calm as she operates so close to his eye. Speaking of spectators, it's all about this pop. Another fan shared, "I can't stop watching, same." One commenter wrote, "Instant relief. You're never going to have to. You can watch it to your heart's content on the loop." Grapefruit-sized growth. It was divided into two parts. This demonstrates Lee removing a grapefruit-sized growth from the back of a neck of a man. The growth was diagnosed as a lipoma, a benign growth of fat cells. It is contained and found right under the skin in a thin, fibrous capsule. Typically, a lipoma is not tender and with slight pressure moves around easily. A lipoma is not cancerous and treatment is usually not necessary, she wrote.
And you're gonna push it out, yeah. A little bit flatter, yeah. Thank you.
Another cyst in another person's ear. This time it is a bit smaller but more of a round bump. When Dr. Lee originally opens the cyst up, she said it looks like an eyeball or a mouth. When doing surgery on a patient, it is important to keep talking to them to make sure they are as comfortable as possible. She squeezes the cyst to get the gunk out, and you'd be surprised at how much came out of such a small bubble. She makes sure every last bit of gunk is out before she closes it back up with stitches. In this particular clip, you can hear the patient breathing quite heavily. This indicates that they're quite nervous. She stitches it back up and the surgery is over.
Since it's been squeezed out, so maybe it won't fill up this time. Let's take a look.
It wasn't deep.
Kitchen sink plug pop. This is a mother-daughter duo, she said. The mother came in for actually a skin cancer excision, but I noticed this huge blackhead on her back. It's actually so huge we have a different name for it. It's called a dilated pour of whiner. So I numbed down this to remove it. It came out like one of those old school kitchen sink plugs. It was amazing, so satisfying, and the banter between the mother and daughter is hilarious. They're the cutest couple ever. You gotta check it out. Buttery cyst. I can talk about the most satisfying pops without talking about Mama Squishy. A lot of my followers on social media know who she is. She has a whole series of videos, said Dr. Lee. This is a wonderful woman who came to see me who has a lot of these bumps all over her body. They're called statuses, Thomas, a type of cyst that's filled with oil. It's like a yellow oil. It looks a lot like butter or that kind of variation. They're really satisfying to remove because you can remove the entire contents and you have to remove the really thin sac that it is contained in. She enjoys it as much as we enjoy watching it, so it's really fun to see her reaction when we remove all these bumps from her. The never-ending blackhead. When I talk about blackheads in general, my particular favorite or my particular most satisfying type of blackhead is what I call a blackhead ombre, Dr. Lee said. This is a blackhead that is long enough that when you squeeze it, it starts to lighten up and turn a lighter color. So it gradually turns from black to white. That's because the pore surface when it's exposed to air is oxidized, so it turns darker. This one is actually satisfying because it's a particularly long blackhead and it's ombre. In this clip, it is hard to tell whether it is a cyst or lipoma. Once Dr. Lee opens the skin up, she suggested it is a lymphoma, but isn't sure. She always makes sure the patient is comfortable and isn't hurting. She starts to squeeze the gunk out and eventually decides it is a cyst and not a lipoma. As the cyst is located on the patient's back, it is quite large. The bigger the cyst, the more in it. The cyst contained a lot of gunk and the patient says it has been growing for 18 years, so I'm not surprised that it is this big. It takes quite a while to get all the cysts out of the body and must get tiring for the surgeons. Mr. Wilson's blackhead. We have a series on Mr. Wilson. He's one of the first of the OGDPs, and his blackheads are extremely satisfying, said Dr. Lee. They really validate the statement that I make often, which is that blackheads are like snowflakes. You never have one, it's the same, and you never know what to expect. That's all the time we have for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see y'all next time.